It is Thursday. It's Badminton Day for me, and my glasses may be a clue to who I'm about to interview. My choice for the day, I'm really happy to meet Peter Tarcala, who's in Slovakia. Is that correct?
Yes, good morning, everybody. As Martin, as you said, I am now at home in Slovakia.
That's good. Tell me about. Tell me about. I'm really excited to meet you and to hear about your job. I've done a little bit of browsing on Facebook and that kind of thing, and I see you've got a very. It actually looks like a very serious job, Peter. Uh, a lot of meetings, and you look like something off the news. There's a lot of wearing suits on sofas, shaking hands with people and signing contracts. Tell me what is your job, please?
I think I have to lead and represent our confederation in our continent, of course, and in a cooperation and support of a board of directors and work together with the member association. We are responsible, all of us, for the development of the game and, of course, high performance and increasing number of registered players, for example, and so on. And recently, as you mentioned, and you saw on my Facebook account, was finally a possibility to travel because of all this crazy world we are living in at the moment. So I took the opportunity, and that had been three activities that I had to take part. And there was a general assembly of European University Sport Association in Budapest. So I met Hungarian Badminton Association. And then I just drove down to Slovenia, to Početrtek, where we had our European Under-17 championships. And of course, had a chance to speak and meet Slovenia Badminton Association. And then actually on Tuesday, I had to be in Serbia, where they've been organizing International School Sport Federation's World Games. So that's like a school championships under 15. So meanwhile, I use opportunity on Monday and drove through Croatia and met the president of Croatian Badminton Association and discussed with him. And for the first time ever, I went down to Bosnia and Herzegovina, one of our smallest member association, but very important for the development and, of course, for the support of the game around our continent. And then I moved to Serbia, as I already mentioned, and I had a pleasure to meet the Minister of Youth and Sport of Republic of Serbia, and we went to Serbian Olympic Committee for a meeting, and then we attended, as I already mentioned, World Schools Games under 15, and of course, together with the Serbian Badminton Association and the President Radomir Jovic, that we are really thankful for the help and support. And actually, the work that he's doing in Serbia, we have visited the National Badminton Center, we saw the national team, and we met all of them, and we had some meetings. And I think in the near future, there will be some good announcement from this Badminton Association. So please stay in touch, and you will hear something.
A very busy time. Wow, it's a lot. That's a lot of travel, right? That's And who do you travel with? Is it mostly just, are you very self, or who do you travel with? Have you got a group, a team that you work with, or what do you do?
Sometimes it's just alone, but many times I am accompanied by Brian Agerbach, our General Secretary, or Jimmy Anderson, our Deputy General Secretary. So when we travel together, and we try to have meetings and to cooperate and but as you said, it sounds like a busy schedule, but it was just kind of a coincidence, which was very positive coincidence that in those countries and activities you can reach. And after a few months of resting and sitting at home, though, that was a really pleasure. And I think I really appreciate to meet people face to face after all this, after the period that we had not been able to see each other for more than 1 year. And I think it was very good to find out what is happening in those member associations and what is the consequences of the COVID and what could be the future and how can we cooperate and support each other.
And how did you end up? Can I ask how you ended up involved with Badminton Europe as a whole?
So I started in basically in '94 as an international umpire and referee, and in 2002 I was really privileged when at that time Mr. Thorsten Berg, who was the president of Badminton Europe, approached the Slovak Badminton Federation president if I could not be a candidate as a member of the council at that time of European Badminton Union. So it was quite a surprise for me that I was at that time 26 years old to get such an offer. And as I said, I was really privileged. So in April 2003, during European Junior Championships in Esbjerg in Denmark, I was elected by the ADM to become the council member of the European Badminton Union at that time.
Can I ask why did he seek you out as an umpire, do you think?
No, I think I was also organizing tournaments at that time.
Right,
so I already started.
I see.
I was organizing Slovak Open, so I was really involved with the competition and events and this. So probably he find out that there is something that might be useful for the future of Europe.
Do you think it's because you're a good organizer?
I did some events. And I'm really proud that in February 2004, for example, we organized a Thomas and Huber Cup preliminaries here in Slovakia, in my city, or pre-show, where we had 64 teams. Wow. So this is far the biggest tournament that had been played in European level, and to host at that time 800 players or participants in our town, in a small town in east part of Slovakia, was a good experience, and I believe it was successful, and we played for 6 days on 10 courts, and it was a huge event, and all those who are following badminton and they see how many teams are participating at the moment, they realize it was a big one.
And how did you manage to get all those people together, Peter? How did you manage to do that? Was it from a standing start? Is it something that had gone on for years and it was just growing, or do you reach out to teams to come, or how does that happen?
I mean, I've been organizing for 4 years already Slovak Open, so they had some information, I would say, about the organization, about the level, and at that time, of course, the teams they are just entered by their member associations, but it was, in my opinion, it was a good combination of the location, because at that time we had a kind of a record participation from the east part of Europe, because they could travel by cars, by train and something like that. And of course, the price level at that time, 17 years ago in Slovakia, was incredibly low. So those countries could attend and could afford to come. And of course, it was extremely cheap for the western part of Europe. So sometimes they could not believe how much they have to pay for the food or drink or just for the hotel room.
It was very popular on that front, from a social side.
Yes, it was. So it was a kind of mixture and combination, and good luck, and finally that has happened. But it was a big one.
And am I right in saying, just so you mentioned there that Badminton Europe's a membership organisation, so each country is a member of Badminton Europe, is that correct? So they pay an annual subscription to be part of Badminton Europe, is that how it works?
Yes, absolutely, that's correct. So the member associations are applying actually to Badminton World Federation to become the members, and they automatically become the member of the Continental Confederation. And at the moment we have 54 member associations in Europe, which is an amazing number.
So is it orchestrated through the BWF and it kind of gets filtered down to Europe? Is that correct? Is that the idea?
They have to register to the world body.
I see. Yes.
And then they are automatically a member of the Continental Confederation. It's not the other way around. However, we are trying to do our job here on the our continent and try to get new members, and we are still missing, and we are working hard on Andorra,
Right.
Andorra, San Marino, and I'm joking that Vatican should be the last one, but we are missing to be to have 57. To have 57, but actually anything is possible. And if you Google a photo on the whatever internet provider and with the Pope Francis, yeah,
Yes.
you can find just Google Pope Francis badminton racket, and you can see the photo that he met really. He met President of Badminton Asia, Anton Subovo, few years ago, and Anton gave him a badminton racket. So there is a photo that Pope Francis is holding a badminton racket in his hand.
Wow, that's
If you
Pope Francis.
you see that?
I'm just trying to find it. I'll bring it on in a second if I can find it. Pope Francis, 1 second. Pope Francis, 1 second. Francis.
Badminton racket or
Badminton racket. Oh, let's see if I can find it. That'd be funny. Oh no way!
otherwise, yeah.
1 second.
So
Okay.
that's why I'm not giving up. Yeah. So I will try also with Vatican. We have
I
to
like
use
it,
this
man.
photo.
I love it. What's
To-
it?
to
I'll bring it.
prove.
I'll bring it on so people can see it. Because it's quite funny, isn't it? It's 1
Fantastic,
second.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
1
of course,
second.
we had badminton been brought and played in how you say space air or cosmonaut from Russia
Yes.
brought it to the how you say in English the space about us, yeah, cosmonauts.
Oh,
They brought it
yeah, okay.
in the one of the rackets, and they've been playing badminton inside there. So
Really?
also I believe, yeah, it's also there are some articles also in BWF website about that, because I think that happens 1 or 2 years ago. So those are fantastic moments also, which are part of the big mosaic.
And do you tell me about yourself in badminton? When did you start playing badminton?
I started to play when I was something like 12.
Really?
But when I was 18, I was really, when I was 18, I was lazy to train. So I decided to stop.
Really?
And my coach, my coach said, okay, if you are not
Did you play club badminton? You played county badminton? Did you play internationally? What? For Slovakia?
I played some international junior matches
Good.
in neighboring countries for Slovakia.
Singles or doubles? What did you play?
Singles.
Good.
Yeah, at that time.
Good.
Yeah.
Man after my own heart. Yeah. And do you still play singles?
No.
Don't you?
Yes. No, only doubles. Only doubles. I try to do it twice a week if I'm home and friends are available. So we play doubles every Monday and Thursday still. So
You obviously get to travel a lot, right? You obviously get to travel to tournaments all over the world and the big international tournaments. Do you ever take your trainers in shorts and t-shirt and play?
it has happened. I must say it has happened a few times, not regularly, but a few years back it has happened. We played with Brian, General Secretary in one of our European club championships and so on. So
Really?
during a free time, we've been a little bit enjoying.
You really should you should try and focus if you go away with a team to these events. You should, and everybody's badminton players, you should definitely all take shorts and t-shirts. You can definitely get a racket from somebody and just have a competition. Have it your own. It would be great to have a Badminton Europe competition that you play, that you travel around the world with the international tournaments and play on every court and make a league of it, a competition of it. Get a doubles partner and get in there. That's what you should definitely do. That'd be great fun. That.
I think definitely we should organize something also with the board of directors.
I
during
agree.
our meetings,
I agree.
just to bring our gear and
Definitely.
hit a shuttle and have some fun.
Just
Definitely.
remind yourself of why you love the game, I think, is the key thing. It's really important to remember why you love the game. I think that's lost. I interview a lot of players, international players and local, and well, mostly internationals, obviously, and I do feel that they've lost their love. You know, everybody starts in the same place, being coached, and you know, having a smidgen of talent, and then it developing and developing and developing, and then being coached and coached and coached and coached. And by the time some people get to 20, they hate it. Or you know, I've interviewed several international players that have said, I really, you know, the idea of going home at night and playing badminton is torture, right? You know, and I've said that I've said to them, would you ever go home and would you ever go back to the club that you played with when you grew up? Would you ever go back and you know, at the end of the day, it's work kind of thing. And I think there's something lost in that. I think internationals, you know, I think it would help people to go back to remember why they love it. It becomes all in I suppose it's like every job, isn't it? Well, maybe not. I mean, I sell photocopies. I don't love photocopiers. So I suppose that's not the case. But with badminton, certainly, you know, everybody started the same place. They loved it. And then it gives you a passion to try harder and harder and harder and harder. And then something happens. I feel something happens, you know, with that. So tell me, something I'm very interested in is the commercial of badminton. How do you feel about how badminton around the world, around Europe, is supported commercially? Like, you know, are there certain countries that are particularly good at commercially? I mean, Denmark have got a pretty good infrastructure for sponsorship and for getting money through commerce. And what I would say as a salesman is they sell it well. How do you feel about that? Do you think there are countries that, you know, that have very good engagement through badminton with commerce? Or there are some that are particularly good at that, or particularly bad at that, or what do you think about the money side? Because that's always a difficult thing, isn't it? With sport.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not easy because there is a pool of all the other sports that we are competing with, of course, and the market is limited. Important, of course, for all the sponsors are numbers. How many players do you have? How many people follow the sport? How is it covered in the television and so on? So it's hard work, and of course, as you said, there are certain member associations which are very successful on that, as you mentioned, for example, Denmark. But the popularity of the sport in the country is amazing, of course, and I think they are doing a great job in line with Asian and especially Chinese companies.
Yes.
So you can even see the proper promotions of either Chinese brands on their T-shirts, which has recently happened now at the European Under-17 Championship. That I was surprised there. But then they are using Danish brands that want to be promoted in the Chinese market, for example.
Daniska,
so, I mean,
Daniska. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And Grundfos and all these Danish brands that they invest because they want to grow in the Asian or particular Chinese market. So, I mean, this is a brilliant example, Denmark, but everybody is working hard, everybody is trying, somebody is more successful, somebody is less successful, but as I said, it's not easy, but hopefully it will get better as we want to grow and we want to increase the number of registered players, number of member associations, and hopefully now with the World Championships being played in Europe, we are lucky that, of course, recently we are playing Sudirman Cup final in the Finland. In 2 weeks we will be playing Thomas and Newberg Cup finals in Denmark, and in December we will have World Championships in Spain in the city of Huelva. So this is also one of the possibilities that badminton might get more popular in our continent with those big events coming here. Also, unfortunately, thanks to COVID. This is contradicting, but again, that's why we have all this. So.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I think the commercial side, and but I guess because of my commercial background, I do see, the kind of a lack of. I don't know. There are certain areas that seem to be particularly good, even regionally around us. I think there's business out there that really don't know how to sponsor, the businesses that don't know how to sponsor sport. I think if you went to business and they probably wouldn't know where to begin. If somebody's just never asked them. I remember supplying a client a few years ago, and I remember he dealt with somebody else, and I asked him why you dealt with that person. He says, well, just because he asked me. What do you mean? He says, well,
Yeah.
nobody else asked me. Nobody asked me, so I never gave them anything, but they asked me, so I gave them something. And I just think there's an element of that, sports sponsorship. I mean, I don't know, I could count on, you look at sport around the world, you look at sport on TV, and you see multinational brands sponsoring events, football and all sports, right? You watch it on television, the biggest brands are there, but there are millions of companies out there in the world, small scale companies that could make a huge difference to small sports people, sports, venues and that kind of thing. And, I just don't think anybody's asking. There's that you see people giving money to various different charities and organisations, and I genuinely think it's just because somebody's asking for it. I don't think there's any science to it. I just think maybe somebody should just say, any chance you could help us do such and such? Yeah, right. Nobody's ever asked.
Agree. You just need to use your personal contacts, definitely.
Yeah,
that helps.
yeah.
Is exactly what you are saying.
Yeah,
Just ask and approach somebody, and maybe you get lucky and you get some money or something.
Yeah, especially for business, I just don't think the kind of levels of money that I'm also taught that what's a lot of money to a business and to what's a lot of money to an individual are two very different things. A badminton tournament could be sponsored by £250 for a week tournament and for prize money, and that can seem like a lot of money to some people, but to business it's nothing. It's nothing. It's not. It would insignificant amount of money, but to a sport it can be a lot of money, and I think people lose track of that. I guess that's just a human nature thing. Everybody thinks about how much a TV costs, and a business is making million. I think an average business turns over like £1 million a year. It's absolutely crazy. How much money is turned over in business. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's fantastic. So, what's next for you? What's the challenges? What do you think? Obviously, you've got the countries that you want to go for. Anything else that you think is a challenge for your job? The COVID, obviously, bringing everything back to normal is obviously a thing. What do you think on that? What's your next challenges? Do you think?
Yeah, let's see how it different in any parts of Europe. So some countries might be suffering still, some might be opened again. So let's see how that continue, and hopefully we can start our international circuit, and we can play tournaments here in Europe on the junior level, also under 17, and hopefully we can have, as I said, we will have 3 big world championships in our continent this year, and hopefully in February we can play our European men's and women's team championships, plus under 15 European championships in Finland.
I see a lot of work with Justine Kamal and the team, and a lot of development of badminton around Europe, of juniors and that kind of thing. What are the camps? What are they aimed for? Is it just, can anybody go to those things? What happens with these things?
We are approaching member associations so they can apply for the regional projects,
Really?
and they can work together, and we support them financially, we support them with shuttles, and this is of course one of the idea how to develop the sport and how to work together, and so on. And as you said, Justine, of course the team in the office, they are also responsible, and we are very happy that almost all member associations already signed a memorandum of understanding with Badminton Europe, so we can work together in specific areas and learn from each other, but support each other and grow and get better. So that is also very important from our side.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I'm loving your work, and it's great to meet you. And I'll let you go on with your very busy schedule. And you're obviously a very busy man. And keep up the photographs of men in suits wearing ties on sofas. I like your work. And on podiums, I particularly like pictures on podiums. They're very good as well.
Okay, thank you, Martin. Thank you very much.
Nice. It's been lovely to meet you, and we have a new friend. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you very
Have
much,
a great
Martin.
day. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.